The iron shackle around your ankle has rubbed the skin raw. You can see the pink flesh beneath the grime and dried blood. Every step sends a sharp burning pain up your leg, but you do not cry out. In Sparta, weakness is not tolerated, not for men, not for women, and certainly not for prisoners. You are a woman who has broken Spartan law, and this is how every single day begins in the most brutal prison system the ancient world has ever known. The year is 450 BC. Sparta is at the height of its power, a military machine so efficient, so ruthless, that the very mention of its name makes armies tremble. But Sparta's strength is not built on glory alone. It is built on control, absolute, unyielding control over every single person within its borders. And when that control is challenged, the punishment is swift and merciless. Her name is lost to history. She is simply known as a helot woman who dared to steal food to feed her starving child. That was her crime, and for that she has been sentenced to labor in the stone quarries outside the city. This is her story, and it is the story of thousands of women whose names we will never know. The sun has not yet risen when the guards come. You hear the heavy footsteps on the stone floor before you see the torchlight. The door to the holding cell is a crude wooden frame reinforced with iron bars. It swings open with a groan that echoes through the cold, damp space. A guard, his face obscured by shadow, barks a single command. You rise, your body stiff from sleeping on the bare stone floor. The other women in the cell do the same. There are no beds, no blankets. The Spartans believe that comfort breeds weakness, and weakness is the enemy of the state. You shuffle forward, the chain connecting your ankle shackle to the woman in front of you clinking with every step. The line of women moves slowly through the narrow corridor. The air is thick with the smell of unwashed bodies, damp stone, and the acrid tang of fear. You can hear the ragged breathing of the woman behind you. She is young, perhaps 16. She was caught trying to run away from her master. In Sparta, helots are not slaves in the traditional sense. They are a conquered people, bound to the land, forced to work the fields and serve the Spartan citizens. They cannot leave, they cannot own property, they cannot speak unless spoken to, and if they resist, they are sent here. You emerge from the prison into the pre-dawn darkness. The air is cold and sharp, biting at your exposed skin. You are wearing a single, rough woolen tunic, stained with dirt and sweat. It offers no protection from the elements. The guards herd the line of women toward the quarry. It is a massive open wound in the earth, carved into the hillside. The stone here is used to build Sparta's walls, its temples, its monuments to military glory, and it is extracted by the hands of women like you, women who have been deemed unworthy of mercy. The first task of the day is to break the stone. You are handed a crude iron chisel and a heavy wooden mallet. The tools are worn smooth by years of use. You kneel beside a massive boulder, your knees pressing into the sharp gravel. You position the chisel against a crack in the stone. You raise the mallet and bring it down with as much force as your weakened body can muster. The impact sends a shockwave up your arms. Your hands, already calloused and scarred, ache with every blow. This is not skilled labor. This is punishment disguised as work. The goal is not efficiency. The goal is to break your spirit. You strike the stone again and again and again. The sun begins to rise, casting long shadows across the quarry. The heat builds quickly. Sweat begins to mix with the dust and grime on your skin. Your tunic clings to your back. Your throat is dry. Your lips cracked. Water is rationed. You will be given a single cup at midday, if you are lucky, if the guards are in a generous mood. But generosity is not a Spartan virtue. Around you, the other women work in silence. The only sounds are the rhythmic clang of metal on stone and the occasional grunt of exertion. No one speaks. No one dares. The guards patrol the quarry, their eyes sharp, their whips ready. Any sign of defiance, any moment of rest, is met with swift and brutal punishment. You have seen women beaten for pausing to catch their breath. You have seen women dragged away for collapsing from exhaustion. You do not know what happens to them. They do not return. The hours blur together. Strike, rest, strike again. Your world narrows to the boulder in front of you, the tools in your hands, and the burning pain that radiates through your body. The sun climbs higher, the quarry becomes an oven. The heat radiates off the stone, making the air shimmer. Your vision blurs, your head pounds, but you cannot stop. To stop is to invite the whip. To stop is to risk being dragged away. To stop is to die, and so you continue. Strike after strike after strike, the rhythm becomes almost meditative. A brutal, punishing meditation. Your hands move automatically. Your body has learned the motion. Raise the mallet, bring it down. Feel the impact. Repeat. This is what it means to be a prisoner in Sparta, to be reduced to motion, to be stripped of everything but the capacity to labor. By midday, your hands are bleeding, the skin on your palms has split open, and the blood mixes with the dust to form a dark, sticky paste. You look at your hands for a moment. They do not feel like your hands anymore. They are tools, like the chisel and the mallet, instruments of labor. But you do not stop. You cannot stop. A guard approaches with a wooden bucket. Inside is water, murky and warm. He dips a crude clay cup into the bucket and hands it to you. You drink it in 3 desperate gulps. It tastes like earth and metal, but it is the most precious thing you have been given all day. This is survival, not life. Survival. But here is what makes this story more than just a catalogue of suffering. It is the fact that even in this place, even under these conditions, the women find ways to resist, not with violence, not with open rebellion, but with something far more powerful, with quiet, stubborn dignity. When the guard turns his back, the young woman behind you whispers a single word. It is a name, her daughter's name. You do not turn. You do not acknowledge her, but you hear it. And in that moment, she is not a prisoner. She is a mother, and that is something the Spartans cannot take from her. That is something they cannot break. The afternoon stretches on. The labor continues. Strike, rest, strike again. The sun beats down mercilessly. There is no shade in the quarry, no relief from the heat. Your tunic is soaked through with sweat. Salt stings your eyes. Your lips are cracked and bleeding. Your body moves on instinct. Now, your mind drifts. This is how you survive. You let your body do the work, while your mind goes somewhere else, somewhere far from this place. You think of your own daughter. She is 7 years old. She has your eyes. When you were arrested, she cried and reached for you. The guards pulled you away. You do not know where she is now. You do not know if she is safe. But you whisper her name, just as the young woman whispered hers. And for a moment, you are not a prisoner. You are a mother. As the sun begins to set, the light in the quarry changes. The harsh, white heat of midday softens into warm, golden tones. The stone, which has been grey and brutal all day, now glows with an almost beautiful light. You pause for just a moment and look up. The sky is painted in shades of deep orange and purple. It is beautiful. And for just a moment, you allow yourself to feel it. The warmth of the setting sun on your face, the beauty of the sky, the fact that you are still here, still breathing, still alive. You close your eyes and let the warmth wash over you. It is a small mercy, a tiny moment of grace in a day of suffering, but it is enough. It reminds you that you are still capable of feeling something other than pain, that somewhere, beneath the exhaustion and the fear, you are still you. A guard blows a sharp whistle. The women drop their tools and form a line. Your legs tremble as you stand. Every muscle in your body screams in protest. You set down your chisel and mallet. The line shuffles back toward the prison. You limp, favoring your shackled ankle. The young woman behind you is limping too. You can hear her labored breathing, but she is still here. She survived another day. Back in the holding cell, you collapse onto the stone floor. The other women do the same. A guard throws a single loaf of coarse dark bread into the cell. It is hard as a rock and tastes like sawdust. You tear off a piece and chew it slowly. It is barely enough to quiet the gnawing hunger in your stomach. This is dinner. This is all you will eat until tomorrow. And tomorrow it will begin again. In the darkness, you hear the soft sound of weeping. It is the young woman. She is crying for her daughter. You reach out in the dark and find her hand. You squeeze it gently. She squeezes back. You do not speak. You cannot speak. But in that moment, you are not alone, and neither is she. This is the rebellion. This is the resistance. In a system designed to strip you of your humanity, you hold on to the one thing they cannot take: your capacity to care for another human being, your refusal to become what they want you to be, a broken, silent tool. You are still a mother. You are still a woman. You are still human. We do not know how long she survived. We do not know if she ever saw her daughter again. The historical record is silent on the lives of women like her. Sparta kept meticulous records of its military victories, its political decisions, its great men, but the women who built the city, who labored in its quarries, who suffered in its prisons, were deemed unworthy of remembrance. Their names were not carved into stone. Their stories were not told, but we know this. Thousands of women passed through the Spartan penal system. Thousands of women labored in the quarries, in the fields, in the workshops. Thousands of women endured unimaginable hardship, and yet they survived. They found ways to hold on to their dignity, their identity, their humanity. They whispered the names of their children. They shared their meager rations. They held each other's hands in the dark. They refused to become what the system wanted them to be. Sparta is remembered for its warriors, for its discipline, for its military might, but it should also be remembered for this: for the countless women whose labor built its glory, for the countless women whose suffering was the foundation of its power, for the countless women who, despite everything, refused to be broken. Her name is lost, but her strength is not. It echoes through history, across the centuries, reaching us even now, a quiet, stubborn reminder that even in the darkest places, the human spirit endures, that even when everything is taken, something remains: the will to survive, the refusal to be broken, the quiet dignity of a woman who, despite everything, remained human.